But you mentioned a lot about our areas of life and how we live life. I want to go back to the important areas of life because you share that a lot in this book. Again, from success to fulfillment, really a book that we should be taking in as an essential. I was surprised to learn that social life and environmental contribution was a key factor for success and fulfillment. Can you expound more on this, please?
Yeah, I have put one of the 5 cares of life is just, of course, there's your home and family, you have career and work, you have your health life, your spiritual life, and another one is social life and environmental contribution. They're not the same. Most people have social life, having partying, drinking, and getting together with friends and relatives every weekend or eating out. That's on the social life. What is missing in people is, how about your social contribution? So normal mainstream humanity will focus a lot on socializing to have pleasure on a weekend, you know? Eating out is a pleasure. It's not really a happiness because after you eat out, you burp and you're not happy anymore. The plan of having to perfume, you know, nice things, and then that's exciting, right? It's like, oh my God, I'm wearing my new belt and so whatever, my new watch. Once you finish eating Chinese food, especially after overeating Chinese food, and you get your fortune cookies if you're in the United States, you're happy already. When you go home, you're not happy again. It's more pleasure, right? So when I look at social life, it is for mainstream humanity to feel good because they can display their new things, new cars. Now, what is missing in them is they spend so much time in socializing for pleasure's sake, but not contributing to society. And so as you mature, as you become an advanced soul, you are not anymore looking for socializing because you get tired from it also. You do not anymore laugh at the jokes of your friends because you have heard it 100 times before. You can predict their words already. So there's no more growth within the friendship. So you're looking now for something to do for societal contribution. So you are looking for something to do that is like a mission, a charity work or a CSR work or something that you have passion to help. If you're passionate for orphans, you help the orphanage. If you're passionate for abused women, you do that, or women's health or something. So you focus on a mission that will uplift your soul, your mind, your heart, and that is more rewarding to you than just using your money into buying expensive gifts. And that is why I saw that when people are overdone in the social life, they become depressed, they don't have the feeling that they're balanced and they're not fulfilled. Why? Because they're not using their money and time to contribute. So this is the job of a more advanced soul. So that is one indicator that I have advanced already, because I'm not just socializing anymore. I'm going for social contribution. And that is a big thing when I look at people. When they ask, how advanced is this person? I would say, what do you do? What occupies your week? What contribute do you do to others that's not just family and your industry? When they say, I don't have any, I'm just busy, attending a party, I'm, good at giving gift to my friends, that is not a contribution because that is what I call minimum requirement in a social life. But this is not a minimum requirement. It is an avenue to serve, an avenue to build the muscle of your virtues and to prove how mature you are as a soul. So that is, to me, a measurement how advanced a human being. How much contribution do they do every week?
When, we find organizations or areas where we can contribute positively and in a social, have a positive social impact, we also now create this community around us of other agents of positive change. Why is having a community like this important to individual transformation and global change?
Well, that is a very important concept, because when you start to contribute to a good cause, you find your spiritual classmates in those places, because they also have that daringness to go out from the social norm or the autopilot social life of partying. And they go to use their heart, their good minds and their pockets to contribute. And you will find people of similar interest and service-orientedness and people value-centered people who are doing that because they feel it is the right thing to do. So you start to find the right people whose relationship with you are not only optimal but maximum. Why? Because you are there converging in a level of development that is already higher than normal friends. So you start to find your new friends, your new spiritual classmates, your new gang who will contribute to a bigger cause because you guys have the same mission of helping society in a higher way, using your funds. You become custodians of your wealth, dealing with corporate social responsibility as the right for you to contribute and the right to evolve societal values. And you starting to feel good about it, and you start even to be addicted. And then of all you know, you left your old friends because they are not stimulating you to grow anymore. And you find these new friends as the growth factor of stimulating you to grow. You emulate and copy their good values. They also copy your wisdom and so on. This is where a good ingredient, the secret sauce of development reside, because all of you are more evolved than most people. As I always say, if you are the most advanced in a group, that's an obsolete group for you. So you have to look for groups that are more advanced than you, or as a peer value contribution that is higher contribution, higher consciousness, a more evolved soul. So I think that is the community where you're looking for, that you start to feel again resonating to their values, to their character, and to their great vision. I think people have to look for their group mates in that level.
Yes, and you can find them here. And we'll tell you more about that later. I want to let people know, Master, that we're talking about spirituality now in higher consciousness, but that doesn't mean that people should shy away from their professional lives and work. And like you said earlier, spirituality and materiality wings, right? I want to read from the book, again, the book From Success to Fulfillment. It's on page 184, where you talk about the 8 core values to balance your material and spiritual life. And you say here, the most successful people are those who are able to go the extra mile in effort and spend more time doing the most important things that bring the greater value to life. Now, I want to bring that back to the workplace. What is your vision for the workplace of the future? And what role does the balanced life strategy play in that vision?
I have a good vision. In every workplace, there should be a balanced life center. Because stress is contagious. You can bring your stress to your family and contaminate them, and you get very irritated, frustrated. You're not talking because your stress is so high. So I think there should be a depository of stress before you go home, and it's called the Balanced Life Center, where you can increase your stress and fatigue tolerance so that you go home with energy rather than you bring home your stress. It's like a room where people can do it in cubicles. They do the breathing, they do the exercise, and then they leave their stress before they go and meet their boss or before they go to a board meeting, so that when they go to a board meeting or a sales meeting, they do not bring their combative energy, which delays the meeting because you start to fight rather than to talk. Instead of being constructive, you are destructive in your words. And aggressiveness tends to contaminate other people who are not stressed. So that is also where they release their stress before they go to the office. So that's a balanced life center. They also have a short seminar that they can attend, like say, how do you manage your anger? Okay, switch on anger management workshop, 2 hours, you're done. Or how do you increase your staying power? Switch on the program, staying power, boom, you see that in 1 hour. So, and also how to balance your mind and your heart, boom, switch. So I have this menu and array of workshops that I left with them, that you can switch to the workshop and have your headphone and listen to it, and then you feel, oh my God, this is how I do it. Because if you do not equip people and tell them be positive and they're angry, they get more angry. So how do you make sure that the how-to in the workplace would be emphasized, not yes or no, something like that. So that is one. Leaders should have also enrollments in mentoring program. Why? When I'm a great leader, but in some point of time, I have problem with the spouse or my in-laws, and you're starting to have so much stress, you will not perform good because your mind is preoccupied in crisis management at home, whereas you should be present 100% here in the office dealing with crisis in the office. I call it sometimes presenteeism. You're there, but you are not there. You're absent mentally, but you are present, but you are not really performing in the present moment. So I call it presenteeism, or not absenteeism. So I think mentoring and even a healing to people who are in crisis is a good thing to do rather than just going to a hospital and getting some pills. Because if you're angry, you can subdue your aggressive energy, but not permanently. And so you get addicted to the pills, which makes you subliminally quiet, but not really release your anger. So people have to release the anger, the aggressiveness, their violent nature, because that contaminates everyone in the office space. So they need mentoring, they need healing. I think healing and mentoring should come hand in hand for people who are very imbalanced. You cannot just balance yourself if you're very angry. It's not easy. If you're a smoker and you already start to cough blood, whatever is happening to your lungs, you cannot just, oh, I will make it work. No, at one point, it will catch up with you. So if you are a smoker or an alcoholic, they should be treated properly with healers or whatever therapy they choose, but they should manage them because, oh, it's your personal problem. No, yeah, it is their personal problem, but it affects the performance at the workplace. So leaders should manage even the personal problems of employees by giving them an avenue to solve it so that it will not linger for decades. Say this person is just divorced and he lost custody of his children. And then 50% of his priority went to the wife. What do you think is his mental set every day for maybe a few months? He's so worried about his child. He's so worried about losing more money. He's worried about legal cases. So how can they focus on work if half of their mind or more of their mind is outside the workplace? So we should manage the crisis of people even if it's not about work related. So you have a mentor in the workplace, you have a balance center in the workplace, you have a healer in the workplace, and also a life coach if you need a fitness coach. And if you have possibility, you have to member them in a fitness center. Even leaders are affected by personal problems. I know when leaders are not focused, they are preoccupied solving a problem somewhere else. They go to a meeting, but they are not physical. They're just waiting to finish and go back again and call a lot of their children who are in trouble. So I think we should mind the humanness. We should rehumanize the workplace by dealing with the heart. The problem of the heart should be solved. The problem of the emotion should be solved. The problem of the mind should be clarified, and then a clear solution should be given. Equipping the marketplace with tools such as stress and fatigue management is necessary. Mentoring them in terms of diversity, so that if I were a warrior leader, like Moses or the strong warrior type, and my assistant, my PA is Mother Teresa, there's a disparity of having to command her to do fast things, and yet her speed is her speed. So there's always a stress between a fast thinking leader and a slow acting secretary or something. So this has to be solved by understanding the diversity of leadership, that there are 8 types of executives, there are 8 types of staff. You have to see the chemistry, who is the best assistant to this kind of thing. And so this is the failure of a lot of this hiring of headhunters on the next CEO. They take a CEO that is so strong and the inherited team are very weak. So if you're too strong for you're standing in a weak ground, you're still not you're gonna sink. So a lot of these would have to use my 8 types of leaders profiling technique. From success to fulfillment, they need to learn the 5 levels of health to be healthy totally, the 5 areas of life to balance their life, and the 5 levels of intelligence to hone different levels of intelligence so that you can become leader of leaders and become a high-performing leader. So I think these are equipping space to equip seminars, mentoring, healing, and nurturing. I think nurturing is lacking in the workplace because they think that, oh, you come here, you should be qualified. I hired you because you should do the work. But at a certain level, people, even metals get stressed. They break like airplanes. So I think people, in a way, can perform to a certain level. See, if boss can push them, you should give them a parachute, not to fall.